It's your coach Alex, and I'm gonna be doing a VOD review of game 2 you guys had today. Well, not today, I mean like yesterday. So, I took a lot of notes. There are a lot of issues to work on, but I'll just go through them in whatever order my notes has it. So, in the beginning, not much is happening, so I'm just gonna fast forward a little bit.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
So, let's
30
just turn on
seconds
all
until
vision.
minions spawn. Minions have spawned.
So, not much happens early on. I will mention that the ward placed here, here, and here are really good wards to have because the pixel brushes can track what path the junglers will be taking as they pass into the river and which scuttle they're taking, and that blue buff can track whether or not when Xin Zhao goes for his buffs. Alright, so the first point I want to make is right around here. So I'm just gonna turn on red vision here. Here we see Xin Zhao over here. We know Xin is doing scuttle, like we literally see him doing it here. So if we go to Nocturne, what Nocturne should be doing is he should be immediately heading to this scuttle right here. Like, there's absolutely no reason that. So ends what Nocturne isn't doing is only doing wolves. And doing wolves here is really bad. Because ideally you want to control at least one scuttle early on in the game. And by doing this, by doing wolves instead of that, he's kind of giving up control of this scuttle, and that allows Xin to basically run to this scuttle as soon as he's done doing this scuttle. So why don't we see what happens as you move forward. Fast forward a little. So yeah, notice what happens right here. Xin pathed directly from here all the way to here. So he'd pass directly from scuttle to scuttle. And because he was expecting Nocturne to be on this. And had Nocturne arrived maybe 10-15 seconds earlier, if he hadn't done the wolves, it's very likely that he could have gotten the scuttle right as Xin Zhao popped in. But because Nocturne decided to do the wolves, they end up meeting right here. So here, let's look at this play closely, because this play Kyle mentioned that we should have taken. And upon looking at it closer, I feel like we definitely should, but there's a few key mistakes that were made. The first mistake happened a little bit actually beforehand, is that if I'm going to click on Nocturne, Nocturne has W, not as E. So now, I'm not exactly a Nocturne player, so I can't exactly say for sure like what Dylan your plan was in this case. But when you're facing aggressive junglers like Xin Zhao, you need to expect him to be like trying to fight you early on. Expect him to be contesting you early on. So if you're going to contest the scuttle, which Xin Zhao will likely be going to, then you want to take E instead of W. Like, taking W here to me suggests that you kind of want to power farm. And if you want to power farm, that's totally fine. But there's no reason in that case. There's no reason for you to contest the scuttle once you saw Xin Zhao coming. Like, there's no reason for you to get. So you're gonna see here that you're gonna end up getting chunked pretty low. Like, there's no reason you need to get chunked there because you took W suggests that you want to power farm. So in this case, if following your original game plan, what you probably should have done is just do this, do the raptors, get the red buffs, get that full clear back, that sort of thing. But interestingly enough, there was a chance this could have been turned around. Because if we now focus on the other lanes, for instance, we have Echo here, we have Jarvan here. They both have like priority on their opponents, and mid lane especially is getting shoved in. So what could possibly have happened is you should have stayed on the Xin Zhao and continued brawling him and wait for the Echo. Even though you might not be able to kill the Xin, you probably could have been able to at least push him off the scuttle, or just push him away and force him back. Yeah, push him off the scuttle. That's what I was trying to say. And as to why, we should look at it a little closely. So here Xin Zhao just used his E and his Q knockup on you, and he autoed you. For now, what you have here is you have the lethal tempo speed, attack speed buff, and the extra AD coming from your Q. And right now, Zen's actually not going to be attacking very fast. So what you there was a chance that you probably could have survived an extended brawl against him. But then again, I don't want to be like completely sure about that, because I can see that there was a good chance he could have killed you, and there was a good chance that you guys probably could have pushed him off. So there's a lot of uncertainty there. That's a lot of it's about the small mechanics. But maybe I'll just summarize the main point here like this. If you're gonna take W second and like do a power clear or something, then after you see Xin here, there's no point of trying to contest him. You should have just went for a full clear, right? And if you did plan on coming to Scuttle and trying to contest it, you should have taken E instead of W. So that's all I'm gonna say about that, and let's move on. So the next thing I'm gonna go over, I already went over this with you guys in our notes, like our post-game notes and stuff, but I'm gonna go over it again here in more detail. So let's turn on Red Vision again. Let's go jump back 15 seconds. So honestly, at this point, they have no idea if Nocturne backed, or if Nocturne's like farming or anything. So at this point, mid lane loses priority. So this is when Aurelia should be called. And next is right here. Let's look here closely. So Nocturne does his red. He now paths over to his Raptor zone. Now this is when Aurelia goes missing, and right away alarm bell should be ringing off. Like the worst case scenario, like there's two possible scenarios right now. Aurelia is either roaming around here trying to get vision, or Aurelia knows Nocturne is here, low on health, and is trying to go for a kill. Now if we turn on blue vision, it seems that Aurelia has no idea where Xin Zhao is. I mean where Nocturne is. So Aurelia is very likely trying to look for vision around the Raptors, since they already have scuttle control. So there's no point warding the pixel brush here. So the most likely wards would either be here or around here. So now let's see what happens. So Aurelia walks over to Raptors, gets a ward, sees a low health Nocturne, and then flashes them for the kill. So now let's look at this from a red side's perspective, because this could have been played mechanically a lot better. So let's look at it from Nocturne's point of view. As Nocturne, you see a ward pop up right there. You see the ward. That means the ward's gonna see you. So what should happen at this point is Nocturne should immediately flash this way. because like this is just mechanics right here. Like this should be like I don't want to be flaming, but this is something a diamond level player should be aware of. They see you in vision, you're low, you should be flashing away at this very moment. But instead you decide to auto these and then you got collapsed on. But also what I want to touch on is maybe a little earlier. And like the way you did this camp is also a little bit questionable. Because first of all, at this point, Aurelia should be called Mia, and she should be expected to be somewhere in this area. So what you could have done is you could have shepherded the raptors into this bush here. So if you look at, so I'm actually not sure about it. Let's have a quick look at what the ward sees. So, alright, so if you had shepherded all the raptors into this brush, there's a chance that Aurelia would not have seen you on the raptors. And even if she did see the raptors being taken, if you're in the bush, she would not see you. In which case, she'd know where you are, but she wouldn't flash in for the kill. So this is just something you really need to think about doing as a jungler. Whenever the enemy has lane priority, you always want to try to shepherd this camp into this bush. It's very similar to how when you're doing red, you usually want to shepherd it into this bush or this bush. Or when you're doing blue, you want to do blue inside this bush. You want to deny them vision of you doing the camp itself. Right? So that was something else you could have done to avoid this death. But let's move on. So now I'm just gonna jump quickly to bottom lane at around like 30 seconds later. I believe it's around 4 minutes or so. So let's just look at bottom lane for a second. So first of all, the fact that bot lane is getting shoved in is a little bit questionable, in my opinion, because Xin was spotted top side around a minute ago ish, and we could reasonably expect him to be clearing his top side at that point, since he was doing since you saw him at Scuttle, but he hadn't touched blue buff yet. So you can reasonably expect him to be clearing topside, which he is doing right now. So how bot lane got shoved in, I'm not sure. It could very likely be a mechanical mistake. But watch what Tom Kench does right here with lane priority. He knows that he knows that Janna Ezreal cannot engage on the Kai'Sa, especially when the wave's in their favor. So let's turn on all vision here. Or is it? Oh, it's already on. Never mind. My bad. So look what Kench says. He makes sure Kai'Sa shoves the wave. Or you can try to make sure Kai'Sa shoves in as much as she can. Wait till those waves crashes in, and he gets a deep ward right here. Because he knows that Nocturne had just respawned, and Nocturne wouldn't be ready to respond. So this is when he made very good use of lane priority to get a deep ward here. And Kai'Sa barely lost anything. She didn't even lose any CS. So let's just move onwards. And then actually let's backtrack maybe around 10 seconds and let's go back to top lane. So top lane now. Here top lane has lane priority, and so warding is a correct option, but what top could have done is have the ward be a little deeper, and here's why. We know that Xin Zhao is pathing towards bot side at this moment. Like, why? Like I said earlier, because Xin was spotted. Maybe I'll just pull up the clip here. Xin was spotted in the jungle here. Xin was spotted in the river here. So reasonably we can expect him to be clearing his top side for the next minute or so. So by the time we reach at around 4 minutes-ish, we reasonably expect Xin Zhao to be bottom side. So what I'm guessing is that this ward was placed a little bit kind of out of fear. You were afraid that Xin Zhao might be in or might be like, you know, ready to gank. But honestly, I think it was a little too fearful, little too kind of like fearful because I mean you're Jarvan, right? You can check the bush with your E, and you have the potential, and you with especially with your jungler right near you, you definitely had the chance to push deeper in and probably get a ward like either here or even like at the entrance here is fine. Just like deeper vision could have, there's a chance to get deeper vision here that you didn't take. And alright. So now another thing I want to mention is how much mid control there is at this point. So if you look at mid, especially after the kill, notice how much priority mid has. So look at all his mid priority. So that was about like approximately 40 secondish where Relic just had Phoenix constantly shoved under the tower. And look what she does with her lane priority. She gets a ward right there. So that is another really good usage of lane priority that I want to see you guys do more often. Because look at that, she didn't lose any minions, and she also got good vision in our jungle. Okay, so now I wanna jump to the gank that happened bottom lane. So let's just move ahead a little bit here. A little too fast there, just gonna back it up. And actually, before I want to touch on the gank, what happened after the gank, at this moment, you guys have lane priority. So it was a really good move by Janna to get a ward. However, the ward here is it's almost completely pointless. Because you're not tracking you're only tracking our own jungle entrance, but their jungle is not going to be coming from here. Their jungle is going to be coming from here. So what you should have done here, and Janna should have done here instead, is to get a ward in this tri-bush here. And there was a chance Xin Zhao could be here, but if you look at their bottom lane, they're posturing very safe. Like they don't seem to be like in position to support a gank, especially considering how many minions there are here. Like Tom Kench would have to walk into the minions, and like that would cause him a lot of damage. So in this case, it's more likely than not that Xin Zhao is not in this bush. So what Janna should have done was ward here instead of the river. And warding this bush would definitely gives a lot more information. And had Janna warded this bush, it potentially could have prevented this gank from happening. And now let's look at this gank. And if I'm going to be completely honest here, this gank, the only reason Ezreal died here was likely purely because of a mechanical mishap. Like the fact that he walked right up to melee range of a Tahm Kench that's just poor mechanics right there. So I'm not going to comment. So what you probably should have done was just, not walk up that far. So that's just a simple mechanical mistake. But now let's see what happens after. So Ezreal dies here. But my question now is, why is Janna staying in lane? So think about this. What could Janna do here? Like, there's absolutely nothing Janna could do. If you look at the gold, Janna has like 600 gold. So if Janna backs here, what she could do is get an upgraded support item, maybe and a bunch of wards. But instead, for some reason, Janna decides to stay here. Now I understand if the wave was slowly shoving in and she wants to, try and hold the wave. But even if it was shoving, that's a bad idea for two reasons. One reason, Zen is seen here pathing into our jungle. So if the wave is pushing in and Janna gets a little too low, she's going to be so diveable because they have a flash on Zen, flash on Kai'Sa, and they also have a Tahm Kench to save their butts in case they tank too much damage. But if we look at the reality, the wave is pretty heavily shoving towards blue side. And in my opinion, blue actually made a mistake. They definitely should have froze this wave. And if they froze this wave, it could have punished you guys a lot heavier. But let's just focus on what's happening. So look how Kai'Sa's trying to shove the wave, but because it's an early game Kai'Sa, you can't really do that. And look what Janna's doing. Literally standing around, doing nothing at all, while being in constant vision of them and denying, and like giving them a lot of information. So Janna just kind of sits around here and literally just wastes about like 40 seconds of time. So now let's look at a consequence of staying for so long. Let's see what happens. Sorry, that's good. So this moment, their bot lane backs. That allows Ezreal and Janna to get lane priority. Let's focus on it for now. Wait, just double click. So we get lane priority here. And look at the situation right now. Their bot lane is just coming to lane. Their bot lane is coming to lane here. We here have complete lane priority. But what can we do with it? Obviously, what we should do is ward, right? Especially maybe get a pink ward somewhere. But the problem is, look at Janna's inventory, she didn't back. So this is an example of a direct consequence of not backing earlier. You could have gotten vision control. Like maybe put a pink here, put a ward here. So what the good thing is, Ezreal did end up warding here, which is good. But you guys missed a chance to possibly push in deeper. So maybe by pushing in deeper, you don't necessarily have to like get wards down. But what you could have done was possibly scout where the Xin Zhao is. And I think it also would have been possible to maybe get a ward around here-ish or around here-ish. But because Janna had no wards and no pinks, and just all on the topic, we could have also pinked this bush as well to just clear it, so they don't have any vision here, but it allows us to control that area as we back. But because Janna doesn't have any wards, we're unable to fully use our lane priority to get control. So yeah, that's something I wanted to mention. So now I just want to mention a good thing that Janna did here was instead of pathing directly bot, Janna decides to go through the jungle and see if she can make a play elsewhere on the map. I think this is a really good play, a really good idea to have in mind, because like when your ADC is walking back to lane, there's nothing the support's gonna get there earlier if she goes to lane, but the support's not supposed to farm, right? You'll have a wave to hold. The tower's not in any danger of falling. In fact, the wave is probably just going to crash into the tower right as Ezreal shows up. So this is a good play to actually go somewhere else, maybe around here to maybe get some vision control instead of pathing with Ezreal. And I just want to mention that is a good thing to do. Alright, so let's see what. So here they got a good gank off. So not much else to say there. Just a very well timed gank. And my notes, the next thing I have is around 8:30. So let's just jump in there real quickly. So this is the play where mid lane was getting ganked again. And even though there was no kills coming out of this, and the only thing burned were like ultis and like flashes were traded, this was still a pretty bad play. So I already mentioned that we know. So earlier, I believe Xin Zhao was spotted around bottom side and Kench was also spotted around bottom side. Let's just backtrack maybe 15 seconds. Let's turn on red vision. So you see Xin Zhao in the river right now. You see him passing towards the scuttle. And then Kench is also seen here in the river as well. So it's reasonable to expect that Xin Zhao is in the river at this point. He was doing dragon. As we turn on full vision, yeah, he was doing dragon. We didn't know that for sure, but we can reasonably expect him to be in the river. So that's what made this play very, very questionable. So first of all, look at the positioning of Echo here. There's no way Echo can go over the wall without a flash. And in response to that, Aurelia could have just flashed over this wall. So that fight, the Echo barely had any damage contribution there. It was basically the Nocturne fighting off the Aurelia there. So basically the jungler traded health bars with the mid laner. And let's see what happens after that. So Nocturne goes back to tower and backs, but look what happens around bottom lane. Look what Xin does. Xin knows that Nocturne has to back, that Nocturne is really low. So look what he does. He pushes into our jungle and then steals our ground. So this play this not only lost us, like we all not only did our jungler get forced back, but he also loses a camp off that play. And it was all because of like how impatiently executed the play was. So like that's just another thing I didn't mention with that play on like yesterday. And if we jump to top lane at this point, let's see. Let's just go to around. So if you look at top lane here, top lane's shoving in. Top lane, we know that the Urgot's backed, or we suspect the Urgot has backed. And Xin Zhao was recently spotted bot side. And what I see here is top lane has a ward. So with lane priority, what top lane could have done is actually get a deep ward, get a ward down somewhere. Now, like he probably in terms of how much time you had, top lane probably could have had time to at least walk to this jungle entrance and place a ward. Like if we fast forward some amount of time actually. That's where we can do it. When top gets back, you probably only lost like about maybe 2 or 3 minions, and the only difference between getting the ward and not getting the ward probably would have been this cannon and probably this ranged creep. And in my opinion, it is definitely worth it to sacrifice maybe about 100 or maybe like 70 to 100 gold worth of CS and EXP to get some crucial vision down here in the river. So that was definitely a chance again top could use lane priority to get a ward. So, alright, so now let's jump ahead a little bit and let's look at mid lane. So now here I want to commend a good usage of lane priority here. Maybe jump back. So we see mid lane has a mid lane shoving in. So here, Nocturne makes really good use of mid lane priority and manages to clear a pink ward while putting his own down. That's just something I wanted to mention that was really well executed. Let's move on to the next timestamp, which is I believe I have noted around 10:40. So around this point, let's actually go back a little, see the play in the making. So not much happens here. Echo tried to look for a lone bot, couldn't get it. Let's talk about red vision. So here, Aurelia is spotted walking towards bottom side. Aurelia is spotted pathing here. And thanks to our vision in our own jungle, we notice that they're not exactly trying to invade. So here we can reasonably induce that they're doing dragon. And if we turn on all vision, that's exactly what they're doing, especially with Tahm Kench missing from lane. Like, what gives it away that they're doing dragon is the fact that we have a ward here and they haven't been spotted trying to take this ward. So what I believe Echo is trying to do here is that he's trying to cover for bottom lane in the event they try to look for a dive. But let's see. However, because of this ward, we didn't really see anyone like trying to path towards here and look for an invade. And Echo, even if they were gonna dive, Echo would have been much too late for the party. And let's just see why. Because at this point, Aurelia is pathing towards here, and Echo's going mid. So had they been looking to dive, let's toggle on red vision here. So here we don't know where Xin Zhao is right now. So Xin Zhao, as you guys saw, he was around here, but he very likely could have been here with Aurelia. So if they were going to look for a play bottom lane, even though it's unlikely because this is Ezreal Janna with exhaust and heal up and monsoon up, then they would be around here at this point. By the time Echo walks to about here, they would have been about here, and then they would have been ready to dive. And I personally believe, like, by the time Echo was here, they probably would have already executed, already on the tower, and I don't believe Echo would have made it in time. So overall though, I don't think it was probably not the best idea for Echo to be walking around here. So what I see here was an opportunity to actually go for Herald instead. So if we just go back, Nocturne was spotted around top side. Like, we turn on all vision. See how there's a blue ward here? Like, Nocturne didn't know that, obviously, but they know he's topside. So obviously they're looking to make a play bottom. And what Echo's trying to do here is he's trying to make a salvage play. And generally that's a pretty bad idea because they have priority on us. And like I said earlier, by the time Echo gets to around here, they most likely would have already started the dive, and he wouldn't make it in time to do anything. So what the optimal play here would have been is to actually go for Herald. Like in this case, we can reasonably expect them to be all around bottom side, since we saw Aurelia pathing down and Tomkin's pathing up. So what we could have done was we could have leveraged a numbers advantage like top side. So if we just jump back a little bit again. Maybe we can do this. So look at the positioning right now. Top lane, well, Nocturne was just spotted, so Urgot's going to be playing, probably going to be playing safe. And let's just look at top lane. Top lane is poised to get lane. If the call to go for Herald was made, top lane is poised to get some good lane priority. And jungle was also hovering around top, and mid lane was just mid wave, like clearing some minions. So, sorry, back a lot. So mid lane. So at this moment, if instead of pathing towards bot side, he passed towards Herald, that would have been an excellent trade in vision. Well, not in vision, well, partially in vision, but excellent trade of objectives. Because at this point, if they're going to look to dive, there's really nothing we can do about it. And honestly, if we were suspecting that they were going to dive, these two should have backed off like a lot quicker. Like, so let's look at bot lane really quickly. Like, I see some like desync coordination here, but because it seems like Echo is trying to back them up in case they dive. But if the call was being made that they might dive, then why aren't these two guys just backing off? And if the call that they were going to dive wasn't made, then Echo here is just really wasting time. My bottom line is, do Herald in this case. You know the bot side, so leverage a numbers advantage top side and get Herald. Like, you guys aren't that far behind. You guys are only like 1.8k behind. You guys definitely could at least, like, you guys can definitely 3v1, if not 3v2, and the off chances in Zhao is in topside. I mean. So anyway, that's that. They get dragon, we get nothing out of that.
Blue team has slain
So
the
that was
dragon.
not a very good play by us. And then here I believe we're about to see another forced play onto the Aurelia soon. So again, they were just seeing bottom side. Like, they were just seeing, like, Dragon was just done, and Kench was in the river, and Kaisa disappeared from bottom side. So why the hell are we going for the Aurelia here? Like, it's really just a suboptimal, like, we're playing on a knife. I understand we're playing on a knife's edge here, but it's just not, the play itself is just way too risky. We're not far ahead enough to be able to execute these sort of plays. So let's just look at what happens. You see here Echo's that. That trade ends up being pretty suboptimal here. But in the meantime, let's jump to battle. So I'm gonna focus on Janna here. So here, I think, let's just turn on red vision. So at this point, it's like blatantly obvious that they are. So what Janna could have done was, instead of, like, you know, staying with Ezreal, she could have done was she should have tried to check for pinks here. Like, I know she didn't have any wards here. Ideally, you want to place wards here, but at this point in time, she didn't have any wards, which is understandable, since she probably hasn't backed in a while. If I check the gold. Yeah, that's quite a bit of gold, so she hasn't backed yet in a while. But what she could have done was, knowing that they're all mid here, she could have like checked this bush, checked these two bushes for any pinks. And if we turn on all vision, we can see that they in fact do have a pink here, and they probably could have cleared that. So if we just like let it play out, like Janna should be like, at this point Janna shouldn't even be in here. Janna should already, if my timing is correct, Janna should have, as soon as Kaisa and Tom Ken showed up on this board, what they should have done, Janna should have immediately walked into here and check for whatever vision she can find. So like, look how little Janna's getting from this. So it's possible to argue that Tom Kench and Kaisa might have been able to make it back in time, but if Janna made the call to like check these two bush wards like maybe 15 seconds earlier when they showed up, when their bot lane showed up on this ward, then this ward definitely would be gone. Or at the very, very least, if they were truly concerned about Tom Kench collapse, at least they would know there's a ward here. In which case, they would know that for the next time they have lane priority and bot lane's gone, they could definitely clear this and get some vision control here. Alright, so now let's look at what they do. Janna does when she backs now. Alright, so you see here Janna gets her upgrade. Alright, here's a big thing right here. Why are you getting an amplifying? Why is Janna getting an amplifying tome here? Like, I believe she's building for an ardent sensor, but as a support, you should be focusing on getting as many pinks as possible. So this amp tome buy seems to just be like greed, I guess. Like, you want more power. But here's a general like rule of thumb when you're a support. Whenever you're buying like a small component, like such as like amp tome, or like basically any component, any like item that's say below 12 to 1500 gold, if you have the space, if you always want to prioritize a ward over like a small component. So in this case, what would have been better is, instead of an amp tome, you could have gotten like probably could have gotten 1 or 2 fairy charms instead and get some pink wards down, because those pink wards would be a lot more valuable. But then let's go on a little bit actually. So what Janna's doing here is Janna's walking back to lane with Ezreal. And now look at what's wrong. Think about what's wrong here. There's a wave crashing. There's a wave that's dying out of this tower. So what's gonna happen is all that's gonna happen is they're gonna walk in the lane, and then Ezreal's gonna just be here Ezreal's just gonna be here farming. So what can Janna do here? Look what Janna did. Like, first of all, as a support, if you're gonna walk in the lane with your ADC at this point, you might as well hard shove the wave and get a lot of lane priority. So you should have been, sending a Q to the wave, helping auto the wave, trying to thin it out as fast as possible. But Janna didn't do that. Janna just stuck around and just collected the coins. Like, did nothing. If we go ahead a little bit here. So now this in itself was a good idea. So you controlled some vision. You knew that their Kaisa would be stuck farming, so you guys got the vision control here. But that earlier point I made about pushing the wave, that probably could have been done with a lot more efficiency. So, but if you go back to a little earlier though, like when you're going back to the lane. first of all, at this point, like both lanes are resetting, so there's not going to be much action going around bottom lane for some time. Now, of course, we don't know that Tahm Kench is going to end up roaming towards mid lane, but we know that since the wave is resetting, though, there's not going to be much action around here. So what Janna should be doing here is instead of pathing directly bot, she should be actually pathing through the jungle, either like this. Just gonna use my camera to like specify the path. So either through here, or through here. So like through the outer edge of the blue buff, and then back to bottom. And there was definitely a chance she could have caught this ward and cleared it. Because like while your ADC is just picking up a few minions here or there, like, you're not going to be able to do much. Like Janna's not going to be able to do much. So what the best play to do here would have been to just, you know, path this way, see if you can try to maybe get a ward. Let me clear this pink ward to get a ward here for your mid laner. And then yeah. But given the play that Janna decided to make, which was to like, you know, stay bot with the ADC, like I said, just to reiterate what I said earlier, if Janna's going to like come with the ADC, you might as well hard shove the wave to get lane priority. You kind of end up gaining priority like anyways, is because it's based on the positioning of the waves. But Janna in this case should be actively autoing or queuing doubly for more effectiveness. But again, this later play here was pretty good, where you use your lane priority to get like vision around. Alright. Now let's just so actually this is not something I had in my notes, so just give me a second. I just want to check something real quickly. Just wondering if Tahm Kench was spotted on the ward. Alright, guess he wasn't spotted on the ward. Here we see a mid trade, and then we see Tahm Kench popping out of nowhere. Honestly, this was just a really good play by that Tahm Kench. He dodged around the mid laner cleared the ward here, so he was able to walk right by, sweep the top side, realize it's out of vision, and then caught the Echo trying to fight the Irelia and pick up a free kill. Now let's see what Janna does here. So you look at the information we have. Xin is over here. So this was a really good idea by top lane to try to get deep ward here while Urgot's not in the lane. Because he's a Jarvan, he can just kind of EQ away, and Xin Zhao can't really catch him. So this is a good idea. Xin Zhao, so this is a really good that we scouted Xin Zhao here. But look what Janna does. Like, top lane is top, jungle is top. And the other two players, mid and support, are mid lane. This is like literally the best chance you can get to path here. Maybe get a ward on red, maybe get a ward on Krugs, maybe get a ward over here. Like, this is the best chance you're gonna get to get deep wards. But instead, again, you just kind of stick by your ADC. And like, honestly, that's just a missed opportunity to get vision control. Alright, so probably not gonna. So the next point I want to make is kind of a minor mechanical detail I saw top lane. So this is in reference to the play where they dove top. So let's have a look around there. So I understand earlier. Let's backtrack maybe 1 second. So top lane seems to be fine and dandy, right? Not much is happening around here. Turn on all vision. Xin was pathing towards the scuttle, and I believe he is not spotted. Yeah, he is not spotted. He was not spotted on the wall. Was a small reward, I'm not sure. Appears to be some pings. Let me just maybe back it up a few, like 10 seconds. And let's see. So, I'm not sure what that ping exactly was. I'm guessing someone saw like Zin's auto attack effect here. I'm not. I'm not. I'm not. I hope that what I see in spectators is exactly basically what's seen in game. So yeah. So at this point, first of all let's assume Zin's position was not communicated here. Let's say that was just a lucky ping or it wasn't communicated. Let's see what happens next. So Zin was spotted right here. Zin is going for a gank. So let's see what Jarvan does. So first of all, that flag, like what was the point of that flag? You know Xin Zhao is coming for you. And your flag is like your primary escape mechanism. So there's literally no point for you to flag there. It just made your escape a lot harder. Let's see what happens after that. So there's a visual bug here. Don't mind that. The flag is on cooldown right now. So this could have been played mechanically better, because what happens is Zin dashes in. So Jarvan. So at this point, I believe Jarvan's E is up from what I saw earlier. So what Jarvan could have done here is actually flash here instead of here. Because as you can see, Urgot was about to cast his E like about this way, right? Or even if he was, doesn't matter which way he was casting it actually. You have a wall here, so there's no chance Urgot was about to E you anyways. And also, Zin did not, and I believe Zin did not have his third auto attack ready to knock you up. So there was really no chance that they could have interrupted you as if you like flashed away. Let's look at it again. Say your flag's on cooldown. Huh, okay. Oh, yes, your flag seemed to be on a 9-second cooldown at that time, actually. So, I guess earlier I saw a bug, because earlier I saw the flag was on like a 3-second cooldown before here, and it was about to be up like right about now. I guess that was a bug, I guess. So honestly, in my opinion, I think the best thing to do would have still been a flash this way. That probably wouldn't have like you probably wouldn't have escaped. Probably would have still died. But you probably could have like forced more flashes. Like here, you only forced a Zhao's flash. But if you flashed this way, I feel like there was a chance you could have forced Urgot's flash as well. And not only that, you had a team collapsing in as well. So there was a chance, even though this collapse is not really the best play, had you flashed towards the back of the tower instead of away from the tower, you could have had Urgot and Zen be over here, path this way instead of this way, and that could have let the Nocturne and the Echo potentially pick up some kills. In fact, with a flashless Xin Zhao, he almost certainly could have died. But anyways, and as for this collapse, the collapse itself, like, again, it could have worked if Top had flashed here instead of this way. But without Nocturne ulti and without an Echo TP or anything, the timing is just way too tight. So like Nocturne comes up here and Echo comes up here after doing nothing. And then here just a bad pathing decision by the Nocturne. So honestly, at this point, as Nocturne, you know you're not getting out of there. Like, there's no chance you can get out of there. And if you look at the items, like item-wise, or let's just check the gold. Yeah, like gold-wise, Zin's a little bit far ahead, like 700, like 600 something ahead. But item-wise, you guys are very, very similar in items. Nocturne is down a level. Though Nocturne is down a level, like you're still Nocturne. You have lethal tempo. You have your E. So in this sort of situation where there's no way you can run away, just turn and fight. That's all you can do. Like, let's see where Aurelia is actually. So Aurelia is actually pretty far away. So if Nocturne here you decide to turn and fight instead, there's a chance you could have killed Xin Zhao. Now I'm not saying you would have killed him. Like his team was collapsing in on you, so I don't know if you could have killed him or not. But there's a high chance that you could have burned some summoners. Like maybe Urgot's gonna flash in and try to save the Xin Zhao, or Aurelia flashes in and ignites to like finish you off before you kill the Xin Zhao. But that's just a trade play that you should have looked to make at that point. And so let's just look at an alternative of what you guys could have done instead of roaming, instead of trying to salvage top lane. Now let's go a little bit back. So here we see you guys pathing towards top lane, right? And usually it's at this point when they start diving in tower, where top should probably make the call that to say I'm dead, because at this point top, you know that they both have flashes up, and you don't have your EQ. Top does not have EQ. They both have flashes up. There's a very low chance of surviving this dive. So at this point, it should have been called. Top should say, "I'm dead. I'm dead," and mid and jungle should have backed off. But what you two could have done. So right now in this position, is a little. You guys are already like angling towards like mid top side, so you guys can't really get anything bottom. What you could have done was, knowing that Xin Zhao was still under the tower, the better play would have been to come into the river and hopefully clear some vision. Like, you have 2 pink wards and your sweeper is up. There's no reason for you not to come into the river and try to get some vision, especially because temporarily, while top lane is getting 2v1, mid lane is also a 2v1 situation. So for the next, say, 10 seconds or so, it's gonna be like Aurelia is not gonna want to come into the riverside. So if you turn all vision, there's a pink ward here. So what you could have definitely have done is like basically take this pink ward, and I know like putting your own pink here would have been risky, but you guys could have put a pink like here as well. But instead, Nocturne, walks in, kind of dies, and Echo also walks in, kind of wastes some time, and then walks back mid. So yeah, overall, like the call to collapse itself was not a very good one, and it really did hinge on like top lane not using E earlier and top lane needing to get a better flash down. It's all these sort of small things. So it really should have been communicated that top was not going to live there. Alright. And then, oh yeah, and here, they put a pink ward here. Like, they put a ward here, so why? Our mid laner has a pink ward, so why aren't we clearing this? Like, this is a really pretty high traffic spot, because this is the route. The route that jungler takes to enter river. This is a route mid lane takes when he wants to roam top and stuff. So if mid lane has a pink ward here, like if they put a ward here, just use your pink ward to clear it. Like in these sort of situations, it's worth using your pink ward to clear stuff, just because not only you get the ward, you can also get to control this area. You get to protect this area from any possible future wards. But anyways, that's all I have to say about that.
Shut down.
And now let's jump over to Jana. So again, look at the position. Now let's maybe back off after a second. Let's see what's happening bottom. Look at how much priority there is bottom lane. Look at the priority bottom. They even pinged that Kentra's missing. So Kentra's not going to be bought. Look at the wild goose chase they're having onto Oh yeah, I actually forgot to mention this part. So notice that if you turn onto Zinja a little early, you definitely could have killed him. But I won't talk about that too much. You probably talked about that in the game. So. Anyways, look at how much priority you have bottom lane. Like, look how much space Janna has to like walk around and ward. Now, having a vision or a yellow ward here, especially when you have a Nomad's Eye, is completely unacceptable. But because you already have like a yellow ward and a regular ward, you definitely could have pushed into the jungle and put some deep wards. I'd recommend a ward here and a ward here, but you definitely could have done that. And also, going off of what I said earlier about the Amp Tome purchase, had you had pink wards, instead of buying this Amp Tome, you probably could have even gotten better vision control on the bot side. Right? But instead, like Janna, you decided to just stay here. Like, you're complicated. Look at what you did. You got a Q off on the Kaisa. You're not going to be able to threaten any sort of dives possible. Look how comfortable Kaisa is right now. Literally free farming under the tower. So she just needs to farm safely, and look how much pressure they're getting as a team. Kench is making plays roaming around, Aurelia is making plays roaming around, and look at Janna just sitting around doing nothing. Like before they path bottom, there was a really big window for Janna to path into here and get some wards down. And let's just watch it all again, like maybe with red vision on. With only red vision, just to make it kind of more convincing, I suppose. Alright, so jungler is spotted top side. Alright, and mid was all spotted around here. So look at this window. Right now, Janna could be pathing into here, getting wards here. Right? Look, we see them all up there. So Janna, at this point, Janna could have put her wards down and be leaving the jungle already. And that's going to be right in time to avoid Tahm Kench coming in and Aurelia coming in for a bot lane. Like here, I kind of understand you guys wanted the pressure, but now it's been about 30 seconds since they made a play top lane. And you could reasonably start expecting the pressure you have to start fading. So overstaying here seems to be somewhat of a risk. And it's a good thing you had a ward here from earlier to spot them out. But overall, you guys pushed. That was a little too far of a push, but it's not a big deal, so I'm not going to rail too long about it. What's our next point? So now, for the next few time, I want you guys to look at Zinjao's path. This is something you guys can probably learn a lot from. So part of this is just luck, but I just want you guys to see what Zinjao was able to do. So let me turn on blue vision first. So you guys have a ward here that he probably knows about, but he doesn't know when it's gonna die. Because this ward is placed earlier by Jarvan, but he doesn't know when it's gonna die. He probably hasn't timed it well. So you guys see him low, and you guys could reasonably expect him to back. So you guys see him pathing into the river, but look what happens. He notices that The pink ward has spotted out. The pink ward has spotted out. There's a honey fruit here. Look how much he manages to heal up. And because he just saw, you know, mid lane around here, and he knows junglers just respawn, and he has vision up here as well, he's able to snoop in and literally take the red buff uncontested. Especially after seeing top lane come right back to lane. Like, look at this. He just takes the red buff right away. And then if we look at our red vision, we have no idea what's going on. All we saw was Sinja being low on health near his red buff. We have no idea. And we look at Jarvan here. This is honestly a really good, like, honestly, you can argue that Jarvan was playing a little too far up here by, you know, trying to proxy the wave. But I can understand that you guys thought that Zenja backed, and reasonably, I would assume the same. But look at this. He uses this pink ward, uses his the vision control and the priority mid lane has, as well as he also noticed that Echo was down here, as well, and like so he knew that he wouldn't get collapsed on if he tries to go for the red buff. And look at that. That results in another kill top lane that should not have happened, but that they should not have happened, but they managed to get purely based on vision. That was a play they made based on superior vision by spotting Echo here, knowing that jungler is dead, by seeing that there's no vision around here, no vision scouting his path into the enemy jungle, and by also spotting the honey fruit here. So that's something. So that is what you can do with the vision. That's what they were able to do with vision that you guys were failed to do because of a lack of vision. All right. So let's just fast forward a little bit. So I'm gonna commend your next play because this was actually completely the right call. So you guys noticed that the top and jungle were taking top tower. So the play here to actually try to make a move on their mid lane. So you guys knew that Kai'Sa was like not gonna be there because she backed. Actually, I'm not sure if you guys saw her back. Just back off. Well, you guys like didn't completely you guys knew that Kai'Sa was gonna be bottom lane. She wasn't gonna make it in time up here. So I think this was a good play. You guys were able to leverage the 360 advantage. So here it was kind of unfortunate that jungler died. I personally attribute that to you guys being behind in gold, but in essence that was the right play to make, because they had pressure topside, so you guys were able to leverage pressure in the middle. Now let's see what happens. Better Urgot wasting CP right here, and even TP'd your own top lane here. So look at the situation. Dragon's about to spawn. Their jungler is topside, and later I believe you're gonna their jungler was recently topside. He's probably not gonna make it down in time. Well, even if he does make it down, you guys definitely have enough time to get control of the dragon pit. And then here's another thing, and unfortunately you guys are missing pinks here, and this is another time where I'm gonna have to heavily criticize Janna for not having a sweeper yet. But theoretically, if you guys have pinks, or at least have a sweeper, you guys could definitely get a lot of control over the dragon pit at this point. And notice that Tom Kench recently used his ultimate. You guys saw that in the last fight, he used his ultimate. You guys saw that Kench ulted that here. not going to have it up for the dragon fight, for like the special dragon fight. So Kenshin and Reli are both dead. TV, your top laner here. You have 3 people players here. ADC's here, ready to shove out with the bot lane shoving. So let's see what happens. So you guys are in a prime opportunity to kill the dragon. You get priority in 2 lanes. You clear wards here. But instead of going for the dragon, you guys literally dance around mid lane, do nothing, and then the dragon just ends up not getting taken. Like, this was literally such a good opportunity to do dragon, and I'm not sure why you guys didn't do it. It's a good thing you guys managed to get some vision control, but you guys definitely had a good opportunity to get a ward here and a ward here to like better scout like their rotations towards the dragon, which they will inevitably do since you guys did give it up. Alright, so now let's look ahead a little and see what's going on. So like around this time, you guys with Echo having back, you can reasonably expect that you won't be able to do dragon anymore. So in this case, I see a heavy like lack of coordination here. Alright. So it seems like you guys gave up on the dragon. Right? You guys literally had good positioning, then you gave it up completely. Which, first of all, it was a bad call, but you guys already did it, so let's leave it at that. You guys gave up dragon, so why are you guys coming back in? There's no reason you guys should do it at all. Especially if you're top lane down. Why? Why is this happening? You guys gave up dragon control, and now you're going back to it once they are there. So that's something that definitely should not be happening. So let me tell you guys about the alternative. Let me turn on red vision. You guys see them around bottom side. Actually, let's go back earlier. Let's go back a little earlier. First of all, with these two having respawned, Aurelia and Kench having respawned, and us back, there's really no chance Dragon can be contested. We know it's gone. And we definitely know it's gone, so there's no point trying to contest this. But if we turn our heads towards this direction, what's this? What's this? Why, if we turn off Fog of War, it's a Herald. Look at the Herald. See that? That is an objective. So instead of taking the dragon, instead of giving up control of the dragon and then trying to come back to it, you could have just gone for the Herald instead. I mean, they're all going towards bottom side. Like, even if I turn red vision on, you see Urgot positioning around here that almost obviously indicates that they're looking to make a play around dragon. Kai'Sa's aggressively shoving bot, which is also a really good indicator. So, like, that means that, so look at the, say, of the map. They have, you know, 3 of them are ready to rotate towards bottom side. Like, we have them in vision. And if we look at them, they see 2 of us. Well, they also see 3 of us, bottom side. But they've already, but if you look at the state here, they've made a commitment to go for the dragon. So we know that they know that we're poised around bottom side. But because they know we don't have positioning, they're gonna force dragon. We know they're around bottom side. We also know we can't, but instead of recognizing that we can't force dragon, we go in for some reason. So the right call here, even if they'll suspect or they'll know because they'll see Nocturne walking this way, the right call here would have been to go for Herald, if not get vision control topside. This goes back to like the idea of trading pressure. They get dragon. If they're going to make a play bottom side, what can we get on the top side? In this case, it would be Herald, deep wards, etc. So overall, you guys made a terrible play trying to scout the lane. You guys get yourself caught. quickly what happens. So not much happens here actually. They get control of our top side. And look at this, because of our poor positioning, look at this. There's nothing we can do to like respond to this pressure. Right? Like there's nothing we can do. Like if we had passed like around topside and taken the Herald, what we probably could have done was, you know, what we could have done was, you know, still give up the bot tower, still give up dragon, but we definitely could have traded pressure around here. But instead, they're invading our jungle and we're just literally looking at them. They're making plays and we're just staring at them doing nothing. Like, why are we doing that? Why are we looking at them while we're not doing anything? So while you're already in this situation, I know there's not much you can do, but you shouldn't even be in this situation in the first place. You need to trade pressure. And this causes you guys to lose virtually all control of bottom side without any trade in top side control. And so now let's move ahead a little bit. So now Zin is spotted and passing towards top side. So this should be a blatant suggestion that they've already left bottom side. And here again I want to ask the question, why does Janna still have this? Like, what's the point of that? Like, if Janna had a regular, like a sweeper, look at the wards they have. They have a ward here, and look at this ward here. Look how much vision look at how much information that's gonna give. If Janna had a sweeper here, this ward would be dead. They would have, and later on, then this ward's also spotted as well, so they can, with a sweeper, they can regain control of their own jungle. But instead, without a sweeper, you know, just lingers in vision. Nothing really happens. Just bad information on us. Another thing I want to mention is that, like, Kyle mentioned the Christmas tree. So this would be a really good time to start doing it. Like, they're just in our jungle. We have to expect them to have vision somewhere. And Ezreal here has a control ward, so my question is, why not put it down? Why not put it down? So, like, because we have vision here, why don't you put a ward, like, somewhere, like, here or something? Right? Like, it's not guaranteed, like, I'm not expecting you to, like, you know, see this ward in particular, because you could have warded here, which might not have seen it. But this ward should have been placed in our bot side to scout any wards. Because had you placed that, you probably would have scouted either this ward or this ward, or potentially even both, if placed like in the right place. I'd say around here. But my main point is this should have been placed in our jungle to get control. Like, there's no reason you should leave this part of the jungle without pinking it. Anyways, now let us push ahead maybe 30 seconds-ish. So here top lane gets caught somehow. And here you guys kind of made the right call to try to push down mid. And at this point, like, there really isn't that much at this point. So there's a good disengage by Nocturne here, but ideally here you should just be trying to hold it. And honestly, they could have punished you guys a lot harder, simply because Nocturne is spotted here doing the crab, and 3 of you guys are mid lane and pretty weak. Had Urgot stayed and pressured top lane, you guys would have been really, really fucked. But they don't make the right. Well, he is trying to. Pressure top. Alright, guess that was a personal mistake then. Forgot he was doing that. lanes, yeah. So they have a lot of priority on the top side and priority on the mid side. But overall, with that play, guess you guys did make the best possible call. But this isn't in my notes, but I'm just gonna look back right now just to see how Jarvan got caught there. Because I believe that play has lost you guys so much priority. Okay, so let me just back off a little bit and just see how the fight happened. So first of all, let's look at red vision. I wasn't spotted earlier. Let's see. So Zin is spotted, walking towards top side. And this is the question I have to ask the Jarvan player, like, why are you around here? I'm gonna honestly... Huh. Okay. This was just like raw double shit right here. I don't even know what to say. Like that was just pure bronze level stuff right there. But that actually gets you into a point about something that we generally call autopilot. It's like when you walked up and you you had no reason to walk up. Like, what are you gonna gain from walking up at that point? So let me go back. I want to see if I can understand your thought process there. So there wasn't even the wave here. Like, there's no point in doing this. It seemed like an autopilot move. Like you were just doing it because you want to get damage or something. So this is something that doesn't just apply to you in particular, but applies to everybody. Like this sort of an autopilot. Like, what's the point of that, right? What's the point of that? You're not gonna get anything out of that. Like, there's no point coming, even showing up in lane. Like, if you wanted to hold top and get hard shoves, you can maybe like sit in this bush, which would be better since there's a pink ward there. But instead, you like literally walked up. So when you're doing something, you need to have a purpose in mind. You need to have a goal in mind of what you want to do with that play. Right? So you need to have a goal in mind. So if your goal is to like I said, if your goal is to push the wave back, you hide here and wait for the wave to shove in because you obviously can't fight the guy. Right? So yeah, but this was a really dumb play that lost you guys a lot of like priority, top lane priority, and a lot of mid lane priority as well because they had a numbers advantage. So here, let's look at the echo now. Look what echo does. So here, echo decides to path bottom with top lane vision completely gone. So now, I would personally if there was a wave crashing in bottom, I would understand completely. Like you want to catch a wave, that's fine. But look at the positioning of the wave. Look at this. Not only do we have more casters, we have four red casters. There are 3 blue casters. Our wave here is going to crash sooner than their wave. So this lane is going to shove out. Like this lane is obviously going to shove out. So here are the possible scenarios. Echo comes, first of all, Echo at this point is weak. 2-3, down 40 CS, let me see the gold. Sorry. Down 1.5k gold on the Aurelia, down 800 gold on the Jarvan. Basically down on gold versus everyone, and the only champion he could feasibly fight, maybe, is Kai'Sa. There's no chance he's going to win a 1v1 against anyone else. So, pressure's out of the equation completely. There's no way he can get any pressure out of this. Now let's look at the other options. He wants to come here because he wants to get these minions. If that's the case, that's just literally just greed. Like, why would you do that? That's so greedy. You're coming bot for just a couple of minions, maybe 100 gold or something. Now the second possibility, the other possibility is that Echo wants to match one of their champions in case, like, you know, Aurelia or Urgot or something tries to go bot and, you know, push it out, so he's trying to predict that. But, like, in that sort of situation where you can't fight them, it would be a lot more valuable to actually get control of your top side rather than going bot. Because right now, with the top laner's death, you guys lost complete control of top side. Top side, right? So the two scenarios: if someone doesn't show up bottom, let's say Echo leaves, someone doesn't show up bottom, it'll actually get pressure bottom because of the wave that's going to build up. If someone does show up bottom, you guys can leverage a numbers advantage and get vision control topside. Okay? So overall, this was just, again, this seems like an autopilot move where you guys thought to your pregame plan of, you know, oh, Echo's going to split push, or oh, someone needs to be in a side lane. But you guys didn't really think it through. You guys didn't really think your game plan through enough. Like, look how little vision you have around such a big objective. Like, getting vision around there is so much more important than, you know, either getting a few minions or trying to predict a potential split push. Let's play it. Let's play it out. See what happens. So I go one spawn. Nothing much happens around this point. Well, actually, let's turn on all vision first. For a moment. So let's see what's actually happening. Echo's pathing spots. And interesting, look at this. The only person in position to catch this bot wave was Xin Zhao. So had Echo left the wave here, they very likely would have sent Xin Zhao bottom to deal with it instead of anyone else. And with the jungler bottom, that is literally a free invitation to get complete control of your own jungle and get some wards in the Baron pit. Okay? So if they don't send Xin Zhao to go deal with this, then this wave is just gonna crash into the tower and probably, like, the wave's probably gonna be big enough to even take this tower, so you guys will have pressure bottom. So it's literally a win-win situation if Echo doesn't go bot at this point. But it already happened, so let's see. Goes up, bottom, out, and look at their response. They see the situation is gonna be like, they see Echo's bot, it's like gonna be a 3v4 or 4v4, so they realize that they're gonna win fights. So look what they do. Look how they're posturing towards this side. They're always threatening vision. They're all threatening control of this pit, and so I'm a little confused by Jarvan's here. Okay, so at this point, I believe you guys did see Aurelia and Xin Zhao bottom lane. So this was a good call, actually. So this was actually a good call. So first of all, for them to send Xin Zhao bottom initially to deal with that was actually such a bad idea. Oh, Blade looks pretty cool. Anyways, for them to send Xin Zhao bottom there was actually a pretty bad idea. So they actually swapped it, but in vision of us. So this is a good play, seeing that he has numbers advantage. But this could have been done a lot more effectively, and something like this could have been done a lot better with the echo being there, and with with a numbers advantage. But instead, look what happens here. You were really close to getting it, but not that pink ward. And now let's look at the red vision around Baron. Nothing. No, nothing around Baron. Nothing even in your own jungle. There's absolutely nothing. Anyways, check my notebook now for the next thing. Let's just lay it out right here. So right now there's really not much to do, but again our team should be trying to secure control of this top side. I mean, like, in spectator we can't see that they have no wards here, but we should still be controlling it in case they try to drop wards later on when Baron's inevitably going to get contested. But so I did mention this. So around this time, where you kind of have a plateau, for the next like, look how aggressively they're pushing into our blue side. But had we had to establish a better vision here, we definitely could have had a better collapse. We definitely could have had a chance. So around this time, so around this time, let's see. Janna has 3 wards. Mid, like jungle and ADC both have 1 pink ward that can be used. So, like, during this period of this plateau, why not ward up our own jungle? Like, we know Baron's gonna get contested, so like this is almost like this is like a perfect chance to get some deep wards down. Like, you're already here, so you know, maybe you get a pink ward here and here, get some blue, get like a regular ward here and here. Cause let's see what happens later on. Here we see them start pushing aggressively into our jungle. Now, had Xin Zhao been spotted a few seconds earlier, like, there should have been a ward right here. As soon as Xin was spotted here, a collapse would have been very possible. Like, look at the positioning of them. Kench and Kaisa are like, I don't know the range of this actually. Can't check it. Not really. Kench and Kaisa are pretty far away. Aurelia is also far away. And those unlikely you guys could have killed Xin Zhao. It's very possible you could have reacted a lot better. A collapse is unlikely since Kench does have his ulti, though because it's a rank 1, it's actually still going to take a while, so it's unlikely you'll kill Xin Zhao if you guys decide to collapse, but you guys had a chance to push him out of the jungle. At this point, Echo also had a chance to better react to this play and, you know, come top immediately. Let's see what happens. Xin Zhao is not spotted at all. He walks up. Last one. Those are flash, top and flash. And with the space Xin Zhao created, that enabled their entire team to walk into our jungle. Look at that. They took all our vision, literally almost everything. So now, look how bad this is now. Our jungle is still black. But now, Look at their wards. They have so much vision in our jungle. This is like literally a free Baron. And I'm gonna also be nitpicky here about the mechanics. You have our jungler has flash up here. There's no reason you should be killing the flash now. Again, that's just a minor like mechanical thing. But I feel like at the diamond level, this isn't the sort of mistake because this play got it. Like I can say that unequivocally, that is the pick that got the because all the space they created and stuff. And before I go any further, I'm actually gonna go back a little bit, and let's hop to the echo. It's 20. So here, echo is bottom. Yeah, just trying to push the wave right. So theoretically, once his cannon's gone, the wave will be in a good spot. The next wave crashing in is going to get delayed by these minions. This wave is going to come in. This wave is going to, come in. This wave is going to attack this wave. And then overall, as this wave kills this wave, this incoming wave is going to shove into the tower, while like the next the wave yet to spawn is going to be coming here. Maybe I'll just say it a bit clearer. So let's call this wave versus this wave like wave 1, this wave versus this wave, wave 2, and the incoming wave that has a spawn in wave 3. So here wave 1 is going to crash into each other here. Wave 1 is going to crash. The blue wave 1 is going to kill the red wave 1, but not before the red wave 1 collapses in. So what's going to happen is most likely the red wave 1, the red wave 1 is going to kill off, red wave 2, sorry, is going to probably like be able to kill off blue wave 1. But then what's going to happen is blue wave 2 here is going to most likely collapse at around like here, if not here. So where it collapses exactly, I'm personally unclear. So that honestly depends on how injured this wave is. So this blue wave 2 here can collapse anywhere from just barely on the edge of tower range to well within tower range. And then what happens in that case is that in tower range, blue wave 3 is going to be coming up. So at around this point, as blue wave 2 is dying off, red wave 3 is going to be coming in. And at that point, once red wave 3 meets blue wave 2, like so, once the red wave 3 has yet to spawn meets blue wave 2 under the tower, that's when the wave is slowly going to shove out. So all in all, this tower is in no danger of falling to some slow push, mainly because of how quickly these minions are going to die, and how this minion combined with these minions would overpower this wave before the wave could get any bigger. And also, this tower's full health. So the reason I wanted to mention that is that Echo here overstays a little bit. So now I understand that Echo wants to maybe clear away some of the minions here. And personally, if I was in this game, I would agree, I wouldn't be able to think that far. However, all Echo really needs to do at this point is to ensure that we have a minion advantage over them. So see how we have two casters here? All Echo needs to do is like kill off the melees or something. So they only have to kill only 3 of the 6 minions. Because what's going to happen here is that Red Wave 2 is going to collapse into Blue Wave 1. And these 3 casters are going to die without killing these 3 melees are going to die without killing these 2 casters. So we're going to have an empowered wave that's pushing up. However, Echo actually agrees here. So in my opinion, Echo here overstayed for maybe an extra 3 to 4, like 2 to 3 seconds. Like Echo should have just only either queued the ranged minions, kill them and leave, or send some autos on the melees, queue them and leave. So Echo ends up being here, and instead of being somewhere around here. And let's see what happens later on.
Blast 'em, Gauntlet.
So now personally I can't say for sure how if I had Echo left a little earlier, let me just go back a sec.
Step right up. Come get me.
Had Echo not walked up here, had Echo just thrown a at this or something, it's very likely he would have made it in time alive to get to this point while the enemy team was collapsing in. Now let's look at their collapse again actually. If had Echo left sooner, Echo would be around maybe here instead of being around here. And what that could have allowed us to do is that definitely could have allowed us to, maybe potentially get some vision control back. Because right now, look how scared we are. We're too scared to walk into the jungle because we have a numbers disadvantage. So that was another small thing that ended up contributing to them having full topside control. Moving on now. Here's the mechanical stuff. And now let's talk about the Baron play. So at this point, let's look at red vision. Top's lost. This side's completely gone. Baron's completely gone. No chance for a steal. So now think back to what I told you guys. I want you guys to spend a moment to think about it now. So I've already talked about it several times. Think about it now. Maybe pause or something. What is the best play to make? Alright, so hopefully you've paused and thought about it. So here, you know that all of them are around Baron. But look at here. You have a pushing bot wave. Even your top player made the right call to go bottom. So what you guys should be doing is clearing out the mid wave, which you guys have, and then rotating your pressure and your Christmas tree or whatever wards down the bot side. Top is no longer safe to be in, so the least you can do is get some control bot side here. So look at them. This pink should be these 2 pinks should be easily clearable. And they have nobody down here. So this is a perfect chance to get control bottom side. You guys are behind. Yeah, sure. You guys are definitely behind, so that's definitely might make you guys a little scared. But still, there's nobody here. This is the perfect chance to go for a bot lane play. And even in the off chance that they have Urgot maybe down here they have him come down here for some reason to hold the wave. At this point, there's no chance he's going to survive a 4v1 play. Okay? So in that case, the best play here would have been to go bot, get control around this area, clear the pink wards, potentially even get the bot tower given how low it is. But instead you guys decided pushing here, caught by the crossing blade. And yeah, overall just a complete waste of time, and Ezreal even died.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
Then honestly, after this point, the game was completely like out of control. And I should mention at this point, we should not have this many yellow wards. Like as soon as you guys should have all swapped to blue trinkets a lot sooner. I believe the best moment to swap to blue trinkets would have been around let's see. So you guys let's see. So after ideally you guys should have swapped at around 20. Because it's clear by around 20 you guys are losing control of the map. You guys are losing control of your jungle and your map, so you guys want to swap to blue wards, since now it's no longer safe for you guys to put down regular wards. You'd have to rely on your long range vision to scout them out and potentially predict where they're gonna be. Alright, and then let's just jump later on. Or did they just kinda like push stuff? So here they backed off. But then these two pink wards so while it's good that you guys do have pinks, let me see when they're replaced actually. I wanna see
Red team's inhibitor has been destroyed.
Oh, so I guess they replaced like before the Baron fight, they just forgot to clear it. But like, when you guys are pushed in this like deep, pink wards shouldn't be here. Like these pink wards are pretty pointless because the moment they walk by, they scout them out, they're gonna clear them. Pink wards should always be somewhere where you can protect them. So ideally you want to have pink, at this point since everything's broken, the ideal place to put pink wards would be like probably either like in your base here, or like in this bush here, this bush, or like in your base to prevent them from scouting like beyond your wall. And at this point you should all have swapped to, you should have blue trinket top, mid, and ADC, but like you three should all have blue trinkets, and the other two jungle and support should have like red trinkets. But anyways, there's not much else to say here. Final thing I want to mention is play main top. Now theoretically this would be decent, but look how behind you guys are. Level 11 Nocturne, and you have a Jarvan with only one item versus an Urgot with 2.5 items, level 15. Especially considering Jarvan has Airy, you're not going to be doing a lot of damage here. So overall, this play was just, you guys are just too far behind. There's no point in making this play when you guys are, like the idea was good, alright? This is one play I want to actually kind of commend you guys on. Because the idea was good, because you guys, there's little chance you could defend this tower, so using the time it takes for them to take this tower down and push the way up to here, you guys thought about you can probably burst him down. But again, the only reason it didn't work out was because of how far behind you guys were. And then after that, just kind of snowballed anyways, so that is honestly all I really have to say about the game 2. So I think a lot of mistakes I have highlighted is the fact that we're not using our lane priority well enough. We're making a lot of really stupid plays. There's also some very micro things that could be optimized. But I think the biggest takeaway is vision. We need better vision. Like, we need to abuse lane priority a lot better and get a lot of better vision down, like, when we can. And we need to also be much better at making, like, counter plays. When they make a play on us, we make a play on another side of the map. Anyways, that's my raw VOD review for today. And thank you guys for watching, I guess.